Microphone check, 1, 2, what is this? It's the 5'7" assassin in the podcast business. I am your host, Rohan Patra, the rap music plug at your service.
Here we are again at the end of a rainbow.
Through this exercise of reviewing the past year to compile my year-end thoughts for these RMPP Award episodes, it's turned into a nice way to sort of take stock in how I'm feeling now versus before. So I gave a quick listen to parts of last year's awards show episode, and it really helped me crystallize how I'd summarize my 2024 with the RMPP. Because I had said that 2023 was a year of feeling taken aback by all of the rapid growth and positive reception. But in 2024, I felt notably different. 2024 was a year of maintenance and solidifying the foundation. While the show didn't 5x in year-over-year growth as it did from really 21 to 22 and then certainly 2022 to 23, the arrow has still been pointing up, with some big artists continuing to join the show, increased viewership and positive feedback, as well as a patron group that has grown to the largest it's ever been, which has honestly become one of my most proudest achievements of all of my life. Because creating this community has progressed to a point where it's become a legitimate staple of my life. And hopefully the patrons of this show feel the same way, where it's no longer a novelty to jump on the Discord and talk to strangers with similar tastes in music. Instead, it's talking to actual friends with like-minded perspectives on much more than just music. An activity that is integrated directly into your regular routine, with awesome events that have connected artists with people in the community through listening parties, and also just regular hangouts with the people in the group that have been so much fun. 2024 was proof that this show and this community is here to stay and will hopefully be a fixture in indie rap media for years to come. So to the RMPP patrons, as well as the rest of you listeners who support the show with your time and attention, thank you for entrusting me with this privilege to Rap Music Plug podcast for you. You are greatly appreciated. So now, without further ado, let's talk about what music defined my 2024 and hand out some awards along the way. Welcome to the 5th annual RMPPs. The Rap Music Plug podcast presented by QLC TV is the remedy to the I don't have anything good to listen to problem. Through in-depth artist interviews, album reviews, and general rap commentary on the best that the underground rap scene has to offer, this is your one-stop shop to knowing what to add to your queue, play next, or pop into your record player. Welcome to the show. 2024 was another strong year for hip-hop, which continues this great run we've seen from the indie scene since the turn of the decade, but also saw some strong showings from the mainstream, in contrast with past years from the likes of Vince Staples, Tyler the Creator, and Schoolboy Q. Overall, while this year featured some great music, I will say that the past few years maybe featured a larger depth of truly great elite albums than it has in 2024. Yet with that said, there were still a ton of very good albums that littered my favorite albums list for this year that I can't wait to get into. So the way this episode will run is that I'll start off with individual awards before giving you my top albums of the year and get into depth about why some of my absolute favorite records on that list resonated with me so strongly on a personal level. So let's start with my individual awards, and note that these individual awards only cover rap records and rap music specifically. I'm going to speak to my favorite music outside of the world of rap as I get into my favorite albums of the year. So that'll be across all genres. This individual award portion, though, is strictly rap, and let's get into it. I'm going to start with my best performance in a supporting role. The first nominee is Sketch 185 on No Time to Spare off of Lighthead Trip and Blood Money Perez's Emblems. Next, we have Billy Woods on Instant Transfer off of Elucid's Revelator. Next, we have Chester Watson on Free YSL off of Kent Loon's Swamp Water. We have Cavalier on Cadence 92 off of Uxe's self-titled record. And then finally, we have Quelle Chris on Sword Lilies off of Cavalier and Child Actors Cinna. So, the winner for Best Performance in a Supporting Role is Cavalier on Cadence 92. This Cav performance wins me over because of the incredible sense of mic presence that he displays. That's a concept that I understand is relatively amorphous. It gets thrown around a lot of times, but for me, I would describe it as the sum of a rapper's delivery, particularly related to their voice and intonation, and the way they apply that to the beat. There's a weighty husk to the way Cav raps lines like, "I'm with angels, the names you could only spell with symbols," and "the tour-like war, the marbleized fat from the boar." He left Earth and seemed to find the perfect pocket within the exceptional instrumental, which is unsurprising given the fact that Cav visited the group and laid the verse in person after observing the group jam and fed off their energy. This is something that Uxe really got into in depth with me in my interview with them from last year, so definitely check that out. Then go bump their album and then bump this song. Cav did his thing. Just an incredible feature. Okay, now we're getting into Hook of the Year. The first nominee is No Worries, Walk On By, featuring Earl Sweatshirt and Ray Khalil. Next, we have Kendrick Lamar with Luther, a collaboration with SZA. Third nominee, Luca and Real Badman's The Cleansing. Next, we have Papo 2004 and Subject 5 with Had to Ball. Seafood Sam, Overseas Sam, and then finally Vince Staples, Shame on the Devil. So the award for Hook of the Year goes to No Worries, Walk On By. Anderson .Paak's greatest strength is his ability to so consistently deliver these deeply romantic performances in such a way that is immensely soulful and not cringy in the slightest. Even as I sing this song to myself, I can't help but smile ear to ear, throw my hands up as if I'm serenading the love interest in a Bollywood movie in the beautiful scenic hills of Nepal. Walk On By is a stroke of songwriting brilliance as Paak's irresistible melody pairs with the groove of Knowledge's instrumental so perfectly. It's a fantastic way to end what was one of the best albums of 2024. So the next award on the docket is Beat of the Year. And our first nominee is Gifted and Talented, produced by Child Actor off of Cavalier's Cinna. Next we have Slum of a Disregard, produced by Elucid off of his album Revelator. We have The Cleansing, produced by Real Badman off of his collab album with Luca, Temple Needs Water, Village Needs Peace. And then finally, we have Uru Metal, featuring Elucid, which is a track produced by Controller 7 off of his collab album with Shrapnel, Nobody Planning to Leave. So the winner for Beat of the Year goes to Slum of a Disregard, produced by Elucid. With what feels like the sound of a bong being pulled as you descend into a Zionist hell, Elucid puts his mastery of sound design on full display, utilizing a combination of manipulated bass lines, synths, and hard drums. This track just perfectly encapsulates all of the innovative brilliance and dazzling sonic experience that we get on Revelator. It's just a stroke of genius and one of the best beats Elucid's ever made, which is saying something because he's one hell of a producer. All right, now let's move on to Song of the Year. Our first nominee is Judy is Forever by Cavalier and Child Actor off their collaborative album Cinna. Next we have In the Shadow of If off of Revelator. Jesse the Tree and Andrew, Butterfly Tattoo off of Not Fade Away. We have Ka, Him and I off of The Thief Next to Jesus. Next, we have Kendrick Lamar, Meet the Grams, a single. And then finally, Luca and Real Badman's The Burial off of their collab record, Temple Needs Water, Village Needs Peace. So the winner for Song of the Year goes to Elucid with In the Shadow of It. I don't think I've ever encountered a song that so perfectly encapsulates paranoia and oppression as strongly as this track does. Where you see Elucid comment about seeing all of these American flags around him outside the city that really made him unnerved and nervous, framing them as really like these symbolic reminders of the oppression and subjugation that black folks face in America. It's genuinely haunting how well he can put you into his shoes, conveying the vigilance he must constantly maintain since he is in one way or another in danger in this country. It's an immensely powerful track that seemingly gets better with each and every listen. The more that refrain of In the Shadow of If, taking my chance without a reminder refrain, rings in my head, the more my mind wanders into what that phrase really signifies and how it relates to the overall context of the Revelator album as a whole and just kind of how I look at things in the world. Like, it's really a truly deep statement. It's a truly powerful statement. This song is so powerful. It's brilliant and is reason 552 why you need to check out that album. This song is just a masterpiece. So our next award here is Producer of the Year. First nominee is Child Actor. Next we have Steel Tip Dove, Messiah Music, Kenny Siegel, Andrew, and then finally Controller 7. So my Producer of the Year is Child Actor. In the 2020s, Child Actor has made a name for himself for this psychedelic instrumental blueprint that features his trademark insert production technique here. I'm unaware of what he does to do that thing where the beat kind of warbles, but I'm sure you know what I mean when I say that. In 2024, Child Actor continued to do his thing, producing the elite beats on a litany of experimentally minded rap records, as he always has, but finally was given his chance to be a true side-by-side collaborator with a rapper in Cavalier on Cinna, where he was the primary producer, producing the beats on that entire project, stitching it all together. And that's what really made me go with Child Actor for this award, because all the other nominees had a great case, but the musical cohesion and execution of a vision that Child Actor pulled off on Cinna was brilliant. All right, now we move to our final individual award, my Rapper of the Year. First nominee, Elucid. Next we have Cavalier. Thirdly, Rock Marciano. Fourth, Ka. And then finally, Jesse the Tree. So, my Rapper of the Year for 2024 is Cavalier. Whether it was through strong scene-stealing features or his not one, not two, but 3 phenomenal albums of the year, no longer was Cavalier a dope artist who we were waiting on to drop after a long hiatus from releasing a full-length album. He fed us. He emptied the clip in 2024 and cemented himself as the most versatile rapper in all of hip-hop. He can truly do no wrong. His work runs the gamut of introspective, beautifully poetic, to raw, gritty, fiery, fun, and playful, piecing together eloquent lyricism with a level of charisma, authenticity, and just je ne sais quoi attitude that adds such color to all of his performances. Cav can be enjoyed on multiple levels, whether it be in a more aesthetic way where you want to be dazzled with malleable flows and strong songwriting, or on a more intellectual level with thoughtful perspective and niche references and multiple entendres. Cavalier is a shapeshifter, but not in the derogatory way one could say about The Game, who just, randomly adopt the flow of whatever rapper he was collaborating with on a given track. Instead, Cav's flexibility is underpinned by a consistent center of authenticity and a love for hip hop culture, which has permeated through his entire catalog. 2024 was just his coming out party. Okay, now it's time for me to share my top albums of the year, the most prestigious honor there is in all of the music industry, other than getting fairly compensated for your art, I assume. So how this will work is that I will share a ranked top 25 albums of the year across all genres and dive into a few of the albums at the top of that list that resonated with me the most on a personal level. And then outside of that, you can see a full list of my top 100 albums on my website. Link will be in the episode description. Okay, here is the RMPP 25, my top 25 albums of the year, any genre. At number 25, we have Nappy Nina and Swervy, Nothing Is My Favorite Thing. 24, Sun Mundi and Clown Cat, Lived and Born. 23, Rock Marciano and The Alchemist, The Skeleton Key. 22, Yaya Bay, Tenfold. 21, Serengeti, Kenny Davis 4. At 20, we have KDI and Kenny Siegel, Genuine Dexterity. At 19, we have Kendrick Lamar with GNX. 18, Arushi J, Delight. At 17, Rap Ferreira and Fumitaki Tamura, The First Fist to Make Contact When We Dap. 16, Seafood Sam, Standing on Giant Shoulders. 15, Cindy Lee, Diamond Jubilee. At 14, Charlie XCX, Brat. At 13, Jesse the Tree, Not Fade Away. 12, Fekin Lungs, Carrot Season. 11, Cavalier, Different Type Time. Now getting into our top 10, we have Uxe, they're self-titled. At 9, Cavalier once again with child actor, Cinna. At 8, Luca and Real Badman, Temple Needs Water, Village Needs Peace. 7, we have Shrapnel and Controller 7, Nobody Planning to Leave. And then at 6, we have Ma Kami, Rich Ass Haitian. Okay, so now at 5, we have No Worries, Why Laud. This is the first album I really want to zero in on and expand on how it left such a profound impact on me, but I think I already did that in depth in my past conversation piece that centered around this record, so go check that out. Link will be in the description. Okay, next we have Rock Marciano at 4 with Marciology. Marciology is an album showcasing a true master at work. At this point in his career, Rock Marciano has shaped his particular style of rap to perfection. That is why Marciology ultimately secured such a lofty spot in my top 25 and resonated with me so much. It's because Marcy is so well aware of his mastery, leading to a display of rap that is exceptionally self-aggrandizing and confident, but is backed up with such sharp wit, cunning street-laced imagery, and that trademark Marcy swag that adds a degree of charisma and character that is one of one. It's inspiring to see a man decades deep into his career still making magic, seemingly getting better with each and every song that he creates. When I put on Marciology, I just can't help but feel jazzed and feel confident. This feeling was solidified by being blessed to see Marcy not once, but twice live in 2024. Seeing him just command the stage with ease, it just showed that success and mastery aren't a linear endeavor. If it doesn't happen when you're younger, your time may come later. Just put your head down and work. Marciology is a very nice reminder of that. All right, now we're getting into the top 3. We have Nourished by Time, Catching Chickens. As you may know from my interview with Marcus of Nourished by Time earlier in 2024, I'm a big fan of this man's work. With this EP, Catching Chickens, I can almost repeat everything I said about Marcus's previous project, Erotic Probiotic 2, from my last year-end episode, because Catching Chickens, while a different beast that features an elevated level of polish and finesse in the production quality, still at its core is a way for me to put my headphones on and experience a pure emotional release. To top it off, just as with Rock Marcy, being able to see Marcus perform live last year really crystallized how this man's music makes me feel. He put on one of the best shows I've ever witnessed, which is something I was able to experience with my girlfriend. And it was genuinely one of the most blissful, euphoric moments of my entire life. I can only hope that I experience more times like this in the future, but playing Catching Chickens always gives me a slice of that feeling, even if it only lasts just 18 minutes. All right, now we're at number 2, my top 25 albums of the year, and I have Ka, The Thief Next to Jesus. Why this album is here so high on my list almost goes without saying, honestly. His unexpected passing left a mark on many in the music world, so revisiting the album now in light of Ka's death feels almost surreal, because as I remarked in my episode discussing his passing and this final album, what struck me the most about The Thief Next to Jesus is how incredible Ka has gotten, or had gotten, pardon me, with evoking emotion through his typically morose and cold vocal delivery. This dynamic has only heightened with the knowledge of what happened to this great elder statesman of rap. As The Thief Next to Jesus is one of the most cathartic and stirring rap albums in recent memory, and is his best album, in my humble opinion, of his entire career, and surely saw Ka leave us on the highest of notes. All right, now shifting gears to my number 1 album of the year, the top album in the RMPP 25, that is Elucid's Revelator. Revelator is a concoction only an artistic mind at the peak of his powers could create. For as indirect, naughty, and impressionistic as Elucid often can be as a lyricist, Revelator is a striking 45 minutes of electric immediacy, picking its moments to step down from the clouds and speak directly about what he sees and how he feels. Seconds into the album's intro, you get the innate feeling inside of you that you're witnessing something special, an unparalleled creative force and artistic vision at work. So while I listen, I feel activated, inspired to get out of my seat and do something. That's precisely what I feel is the defining trait of Revelator. On this album, Elucid closely operates with that idea of a revelator, of revealing truth, an uncomfortable but necessary one, which is ultimately why this record resonated with me so much. It directly coincided with a spiritual journey I feel I've been on for the majority of this past year, where I've started to learn about what I truly value in life and what I must let go and what I must accept. Revelator has served as the perfect soundtrack for such an exploration, bringing you on a psychedelic voyage around the world, teleporting you through time and space before bringing you back to Earth on this album's concluding DJ Haram masterclass of a closing track. Revelator is a bona fide classic and my album of the year. Elucid is a fucking genius. So now to wrap up the 5th annual RMPPs, I hope you enjoyed, and I want to look forward now to 2025. Because my goal is to build off of the foundation that we've established. I want to branch out and get new crops of exciting artists on the show, big and small, explore new episode ideas and formats, and look into the possibilities of live and in-person RMPP events in the future as well. And me saying this publicly is my way of trying to speak this idea into existence, sure, maybe even hold myself semi-accountable to it as well. But I also have some exciting ideas that I really think could work. So I can't commit to when this will happen, but I really do promise you that I'll do my best to find new ways to connect people within this community and help it to continuously grow. But in the meantime, what I really want right now is to hear from you. I want to know your thoughts on what you'd like to see on the show. I want to hear what artists you'd like me to have on, what types of content or episode formats you want me to consider. So to do that, please submit your thoughts through the survey link that I've included in the description of this episode. So now, with all that said, I just want to leave you with the idea that if you love this hip-hop thing, like I think you do because you're here listening to this show now, it's our duty to do our best to support it in any way that we can, whether it's monetarily, buying music, buying merch, going to tour dates, or it's just spreading the word on social media. Doesn't cost you a dime, but helps these artists out, as well as connects new listeners to new music that they just will fucking love. And that's also a beautiful thing. I know for many reasons, 2025 is looking bleak for a lot of us, but our only choice is to have faith. So I implore you to anticipate good things in 2025. I personally have a really good feeling about it. And as a wise, elucid once said, being alive, I must look up. Let's all do that. Here's to a great 2025. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Rap Music Plug podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to not only support the show, but join the fastest growing community of like-minded indie rap fans, go to patreon.com, search for the Rap Music Plug podcast, and become a patron. You will gain access to an exclusive patron-only Discord that me and 70 plus people engage with on the regular, as well as other patron-only benefits such as bonus episodes, album recommendation reviews, early access to regular episodes, and much more. So if you have any questions about any of the Patreon stuff, or just want to keep tabs on the show, interact with me on rap music and all the great stuff that we can talk about, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at rapmusicplugpod, or shoot me an email at qlctv.podcast@gmail.com. You can also rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify as well. But that's enough self-promotion for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace.